Hi again, guys, and welcome back to Quite with a Y. This channel's been getting a little more traction than I originally planned when I was making these things. Don't get me wrong, I am still in like clickbait content brain, so I'm still trying with the thumbnails because I have fun trying to figure that out, but I didn't expect it to go that well. Either way, you saw the title. I'm cutting things off. Like, I'm literally cutting off people's limbs right now. Today is weirdly the 5th anniversary of cutting off a certain person from my life, but I'm actually cutting off like pixel limbs in this video. The fact of the matter is, I really enjoy cutting things off. I love hack and slash games. Ugh, voice crack. But outside of first-person shooters, hack and slashes are probably the genre that I most consistently look for new games in the genre for. You could probably expand that more widely to just beat-em-up games or third-person character action in general, but it's specifically the style and stuff that comes with certain hack and slash games that really has me amped up and feeling cool. In the last video, I played Doom, and that game, if you get good with the mechanics, it really just kind of lets you fly around the stage, and it feels like a sandbox almost. Like, you got all these tools, use them how you want, and like you get to feel really cool. The hack and slash games I look for feel similar. Like, when you're playing them, it makes you feel like really strong and awesome. The hack and slashes I've played the most of are Devil May Cry, which you could probably tell by the games I've used as background footage in a lot of these videos. I think Devil May Cry and Call of Duty are the only series I've like used more than one game from in the background of these. But with a game like Devil May Cry, it's the variety of weapons and attacks you have and just a bunch of different stuff you can do to the enemies in the game, where if you force yourself to play or experiment with that variety, the game rewards you by giving you higher style points, and also you just feel really cool. The reason I like hack and slashes and even a game like Doom so much are part of why Souls-likes usually don't appeal to me as much. That's not to say I've never played like a Soulsborne game and sat down and got sucked into the world. If Bloodborne ran at 30 frames per second and was on the PC, then I probably would have beaten it already. Same with Elden Ring, like the worlds really draw me in there. But in my experience, and there's not a lot of it because, like I said, I don't play those types of games very much, a lot of the skill and mastery comes with being patient and understanding enemy attack patterns, which is all games across the board, to be fair. But the way different games implement those is kind of what makes the difference for me. In a lot of hack and slash games, I feel like I can be more aggressive than necessary, perhaps to even a fault, and it won't like be the death of me. If I get too excited in a Souls-like, then I'm just dead. And that's part of the gameplay loop. Nothing wrong with that. So I just wanted to talk about a few games in the genre that I personally really enjoy. These aren't exactly groundbreaking picks, but you know, overall I have very vanilla tastes when it comes to this kind of thing. You're watching God of War 2 gameplay right now, and funny enough, this is actually one of the most seminal hack and slash games ever made. Like, definitely helped define the genre. A lot of games were trying to be God of War after it came out, but I really only got into it with the 2018 reboot. A lot of people would say those kind of fall more into third-person character action like the usual Sony library is, but even in the reboots, there's still like a lot of deep tech you can learn. Tech that I will not spend time practicing, but that I will watch combo videos of on YouTube because they look really satisfying. But after I beat God of War 2018 and Ragnarok, I went back to the originals and I beat God of War 1 and 2. I still need to beat 3, but I just absolutely love the kinetic energy. A decent amount of them didn't have a camera that the player would control. It was a fixed camera that would follow where your character moved in a linear level. Devil May Cry did this, the first 3 God of Wars, as well as all like the other Greek ones before the Norse saga. And if you started with God of War 2018 and went back, you would have a good time, I think. I think those games can appeal to a similar crowd, but you would definitely be noticing the difference in tone and the fact that while the story is very good in the older games, it is more about just killing stuff. Kratos is more or less an avatar for the gamer rage that you feel on a daily basis. Another series that I've been revisiting the older titles of because I got into the series from the newer ones is Devil May Cry. I've actually played these games for a very long time. Like, I remember playing DMC4 when I was in middle school, but the one that hooked me on it was probably the one that most people would kind of give me a side eye for, and it was that reboot DMC Devil May Cry. That's literally the name of the game, but that never ended up getting a sequel, and for like 6 years it was absolute ropes. There was nothing news-wise about a new DMC, not even a sequel to the reboot, but eventually Devil May Cry 5 got announced and released, and I was all over that shit. I ended up playing a lot of DMC 5 on my Steam Deck when I had like long flights, because it was just a good time to hunker down and try and figure out how to use some of these moves that I didn't figure out on my first playthrough. And when I was getting the hang of actually switching between all of Dante's weapons, because he has essentially he's a walking artillery. Dante has like the entire MW2 Safe House bunker armory in his back pocket. It's probably, as far as technicalities go in hack and slash games, the deepest, because it's a lot of memorization. Like button combos, what weapons do what when you press what button. It's literally all video games, but there's a lot. And it kind of overwhelms me whenever I try to play. Like, I very rarely switch off of the one Swordmaster mode in DMC5 because I'm bad with everything else. But the truth of the matter is, I had DMC HD Collection and DMC4, but I'd never actually beat them when I was younger. But knowing that I liked the reboot and loved DMC5, it made a lot of sense to go back and try and play those classic ones, -2. Never play Devil May Cry 2. If you do, it should be after you beat every other game, just to see like how bad it was, and it makes you more grateful for the things that you have. DMC1 was actually what I was playing in that So What Now video, and I have just really been enjoying it. The other main hack and slash I've actually beaten all the way through, not achieved mastery on. I'm nowhere near that on any of these. In fact, I'm not very good at any of these games. I just feel really cool when I play them alone in my room and nobody can judge my gameplay if it's good or not. But it's Metal Gear Rising, and that one feels so good in such a unique way. It is the most button mashy of the three that I've been talking about here, and I have not discussed these games in any sort of detail at all. I'm just kind of spitballing. But the gameplay is almost designed around being button mashy. Like, you're always going to be pressing something, and I'm pretty sure the counter button is the same as the attack button. It's like asking you to push that shit as much as you feel like. There's definitely more to it. I'm oversimplifying it here. It just felt really good. As far as other hack and slashes I'd like to play or am in the middle of, there's Bayonetta. That's on the Switch, and as much as I'm sure those games are good, I just am so lazy, and I do not want to hook my Switch up to a monitor or something, man. I've heard a lot of good things about the Darksiders games. I haven't really looked into them, though. There's this one game that's been being developed by this singular Chinese dude who was apparently doing such a good job on his own that Sony was willing to fund that game to get it on their platform. Lost Soul Aside, I think it was. To me, that game is the perfect example of all you need to sucker me in is good particle effects. It's quite literally just nice flashy lights and I'm on board. I wanted to save this one for last because I'm not exactly sure if it counts as a hack and slash, but there's this like anime game called Assault Spy that I absolutely have to skip every cutscene on because I can't handle the dialogue, guys, even when it's just like subtitles. I would say it's more beat 'em up, honestly, which is why I was hesitant to include it here, but it has that same kind of combo combat satisfaction I get from all these other games. This has been a really meandering video. I didn't really have a plan going into it, and that's like the point. But if y'all have any recommendations of games along these lines that you think would be worth checking out, please let me know, because I am always on the lookout for stuff like this. Just mechanically solid stuff where you cut people's things off. As always, if you want to try and contribute a topic, hit up that kwytebox@gmail.com email. Stories, predicaments you're in, you want my opinions on, just random stuff, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, piss off.